This mini class flow is quite a joy. It's a challenge, and I invite you to explore the parts of this that work for you. Now, this will elevate your heart rate, get you moving in your body with opportunities to rest and recover. So, explore what works for you, set your intention to have some fun, and I'll invite you to join me with some seated spinal rolls, just as if you were a porpoise or a dolphin moving through water, just warming up through your spine. I'll invite you to evoke the spirit of play in this session. And from here, we'll just warm up through the hips, some gentle rolls of the hip joint and the right leg, the ankle. You can lengthen out through the leg. And of course, your leg can be bent, right? Just feeling this out for what's going to support you here. Breathing and opening. And then just a brief lengthening of the leg. Once again, a few kind of rolling motions over your leg and back up. And then we'll come into side two. So I have my opposite leg, my left shin in front as I come into some spinal rolls again, finding this in your own body, your own rhythm with breath and movement. And then we'll rotate around left hip, left ankle, and lengthening out through the left leg. You can rotate from side to side, and I think I added an extra one on this side, so we'll give the left side a little extra love. Just one more time. Breathing side to side, let it be fun, and then we'll lengthen out that left leg and find some very light forward fold. So it's early in practice, and find your own way in and out of the movement. When you feel complete on this side, go ahead and bring both legs in front of you. Find a long spine. We'll wake up through the core for just a moment in Navasana, in boat pose. Core is going to be helpful to have online as we go into some of the faster movements coming up. So just waking that up. And of course, your toes can be on the earth. Maybe your hands come to heart. Maybe you lengthen your legs and your arms up overhead and out in front of you. Just a brief visit there, and we'll come back through into tabletop. A little bit of free movement if you'd like. Perhaps that same feeling of the porpoise in water, just moving your spine, finding your breath, finding your rhythm, letting this feel good. Lovely. And then from here, make your way into a downward facing dog. You can wiggle it out a little bit, maybe bend your knees, stretch it out, rock from side to side. Just make this yours. You can stretch one leg out behind you, maybe open up the hip, reach into the side body, open up under the armpits and the rib cage, and we'll take that to the other side. Maybe a little ankle roll. Let that feel good to you. Fantastic. And then as you're ready, finding your way to downward dog. And here's our first little challenge. I'll invite you to gaze forward and give it a little pounce. You can repeat that one or two more times, just finding your way in. You might even get a little hang time. And then one way or another, I'll invite you to come into a forward fold. Find your breath, find some length of your spine, a few of those spinal rolls, even here. And then rolling all the way up to standing. And then finding a little bit of that spinal movement in this shape. New relationship to gravity. And as we come into an Utkatasana, a bended knee, a little squat here, I'll invite you to keep those feet hip widths apart. from that shape, interlacing your hands behind your back, lengthening your spine forward. Taking your breath, and then we're going to shift the weight into the right foot. You can lift that left foot off the earth and progress back into a balance. That's our transition into a crescent lunge. And once you arrive there, finding a little bit of free movement, you can widen your stance, really reset your feet so you've got a nice strong base. And from here, we're going to take that left foot forward, that left knee forward, drawing the hands back and finding your rhythm. Give it some breath. And then lengthen up your crescent, and we're going to step it forward. Now shake out the hips, whatever that evoked in your legs, in your heart rate. We're going to find this on side 2. So now you've got a sense of where we're going. We will once again interlace the hands, maybe the opposite pinky on top. Lengthen through your spine. And this time we're shifting the weight into the left foot to free the right leg, sending it back behind, a little hover, a little playtime there before stepping your foot back. And finding your crescent. Now it's a nice deep bent knee. You know we're coming into some movement once again. Preparing for that, bringing the hands forward, and exhale as you draw the knee up. Good. And when you're ready, finding your way through crescent and back forward to standing. Wiggle it out. Maybe sense your heart rate. Feel your breath, some freedom as you forward fold to the earth. Finding a halfway lift. Planting your hands and stepping back. I'll invite you to set your knees down. Come all the way down to the earth. Finding a cobra to lift your heart. And then press your hips back into a brief child's pose. Integrating the movement that we've done so far. Finding a little bit of wiggle here, or maybe a moment of stillness. When you feel ready to move on, I'll invite you to press into your palms, once again, lifting up into a downward facing dog. This time, reaching your right leg behind and stepping forward and through. So blocks can come in handy for this. And I'll invite you just to greet your hamstring on your right leg and your hip flexor on the left, and a few kind of intuitive or instinctual movements here, forward and back, just getting to know what's happening in your hips. We're going to lift the left knee, and here's a jump switch. So we're going to switch the location of the feet. You can choose the height of the blocks for this or not use them at all. That's up to you. But we're going to step the left foot forward and the right foot back. Now, in this new position, finding that intuitive movement forward and back, greeting your hips, your hip flexors, left hamstring. Just breathing, moving, wiggling it in. And eventually we'll come into that low lunge with the right knee lifted. So that jump switch is coming again. And we're going to add on some more jump switches. So jump, jump. See how that feels. Maybe a jump, jump, jump. Do that again. Jump, jump, jump. All right, we're going to go for 4. Jump, 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 jump. Let's do that again. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You did it. Okay. A chance to integrate that. You can set those blocks aside. We are done with them. And have a seat on your heels. So take a moment to sense and feel your heartbeat. I imagine you are feeling some movement there, and that's great, right? A sign of your aliveness. Send your breath into that. Let yourself find some active recovery, enjoying the felt sense of your breath, the warmth in your body. Now, you might choose to be complete with this practice there, or if you're up for one more set of challenges, I'll invite you to come into a downward facing dog, wiggle it out, and then with wide feet, walk your hands back into a squat. Now, of course, this is a bit of a knee-heavy practice, and if it's not right for you, then honor your body, really know yourself. And if you're okay with moving in and out of this squat, this is a lift and lower motion here. It's like coming in and out of a frog and then a forward fold. You can inhale and exhale. Inhale to lower your hips, exhale to lift. Finding this rhythmic motion. And again, we're going for what feels good. So honoring your body, and come back to sitting on your heels when you have had enough of that. Feeling your heart rate. We're going to complement this by lifting and lowering your hips. You might be feeling your quadriceps, those large muscles in the front of your legs, and that's kind of what we're going for. So let that warmth build. Let yourself feel that strength and empowerment in your body. Just a few more of these. Lift and lower. Pressing up, strengthening, enlivening, and then we're done. We're going to roll over the shins, come resting onto your back, and we'll take a moment to integrate that with either your legs bent or, if you prefer, with your legs long out in front of you. Just feeling that movement of breath. You might rest your hands by your sides. Now, as we prepare for just a few more movements, we're not quite down on the mat in rest yet. So if you feel like you'd like to join me for a moving bridge, we'll bend at the knees and inhale to lift the hips and arms and exhale down. So you might watch this for a moment and then join me. Just a few of these, just feeling that lift, the breath, lift of the hips, lift of the arms, opening across the armpits and the shoulders. And again, it's a rather rhythmic movement, but I invite you to make it intuitive. Follow your rhythm as you open and settle. Let it feel good. And eventually we're going to keep the hips lifted. I'll invite you to plant your elbows down and then your clasped hands down under your sacrum. So that might lift you into a little bit of a higher bridge, finding your range of motion, and just feeling the movement of your breath before settling back to the earth. Once again, you can extend both legs long for a moment to integrate. And as we settle this practice down, as we center and integrate, I'll invite you to come into that right hip one more time, this time bending the right knee, using your hands, a little circular motion one way or the other. And then as you continue to hold on to that right knee, we're going to bend the left leg, bend at the knee, and you can take that left foot towards the right hip, taking the left arm overhead and open that right knee out to the side a little bit. You'll feel a little opening on that top of the left leg, and we'll switch it out. So maybe you'll get a little better sense of this movement on this side. So we're drawing the left knee in, little contraction, and then taking that right foot towards the left hip, taking hold of left knee with left hand and the right arm up overhead. Settling into the earth. You can take that left knee out to the side a little bit. And then drawing both knees in, little circle of the hips. And then extending both legs long out in front. That is our final integration into a resting shape of Shavasana. And I will leave you here for today, allowing yourself to stay here as long as you would like, integrating this active practice into body and mind, staying and resting as long as you would like. Namaste.